I lost or I won. Are you ready for it? Get back into the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Are you solely like that is your sole focus right now?
I have no idea what the after Unbound looks like because I'm not even going to plan anything after Unbound until I know whether I get the wild card spot.
All right, what's up, everyone? We are on week 2 of our goal setting podcast. Last week, we kind of overviewed. I don't even know if we each got to really talk about our methodology, but we definitely didn't get into any of our actual personal goals and how we've gone about setting those goals. So we figure, let's do another episode and lean a little bit more into the personal side of things. You guys were not listening, but Dylan lost the straw drawing game before this. So Dylan, you're up.
I lost or I won?
You won.
I guess, yeah, if you want. That's I like that attitude.
I love it. Yeah.
I like that attitude.
Okay. All right. So I'm giving my goals. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you can talk a little bit about how you've gone about establishing those.
Okay. Well,
10 minute limit though, dude.
Honestly, I think I can keep it under
it.
30 seconds. I think I can keep it under 10 seconds right now.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Get better. I'll punch you.
Get back into the Lifetime Grand Prix.
Okay.
All right.
So via means of qualification, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess get back into the Lifetime Grand Prix could also mean have a good enough season this year that I get back in next year. But ultimately, I would like to wild card back in this year.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're going to fight me for that, buddy.
I know. It's going to be tough.
He's sweating.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's assume that you're talking about getting back in through the wild card. Are you solely that is your sole focus right now? You're going all in on Sea Otter and Unbound, and right now you're not even thinking about what happens after that.
Yeah. People have asked me what I'm doing in the second half of this year, what my season looks like. And I've told everyone I have no idea what the after Unbound looks like because I'm not even going to plan anything after Unbound until I know whether I get the wild card spot.
Yeah.
If I don't get the wild card spot, then I might do something completely different with the second half of my season as opposed to chasing Grand Prix races when I'm not even part of the Grand Prix. But Sea Otter and Unbound, I mean, Unbound is already a AAA race to begin with, so that changes nothing. And Sea Otter should be a high priority regardless of whether I'm in the series or not, because there's so many sponsors there's so many eyeballs on it. It's also a good one to go for. So Sea Otter and Unbound doesn't even really necessarily change a whole lot about my lead up because those are probably races I would target anyway. But yeah.
Nice. Cool. What are some of your process goals to get there? You're going to do more volume, more strength training? You're going to start eating meat? What are you going to do to make those goals happen?
I think that towards the end of last season, I was struggling a lot, and I don't think it was just because of my broken leg that I was coming back from. I think it was maybe I think it had something to do with my ferritin levels. My ferritin levels have been on the low side, and I think actually breaking my leg was part of that, because when you break a bone, especially a lower leg bone, your body requires iron to heal it, and people who are kind of already on the edge of low iron can dip into iron deficiency after a broken bone, which I think is what happened to me. So a big thing that I've been trying to get a handle on is raising my ferritin levels. And for those who are listening that don't know what ferritin is, it's basically your body's stored iron. And I was taking a look back at the blood tests that I've had over the past couple of years. For athletes, they like athletes to be above 50 and ideally probably closer to 100. And most of the time when I get my ferritin tested, I'm actually in the 30s or 40s. There was one time where I was 60, and I think there's been a couple of times where I was just barely within the optimal range. I think that's actually It's actually more of a process goal for me right now than anything having to do with volume or a certain type of intervals or this or that. Because the reason why ferritin is so important is because it really does have such a massive impact on how well you recover as an athlete. I mean, having ferritin levels in the 30s versus having ferritin levels in the 60s is probably the difference between, being able to do a 30-hour week and feel good and barely being able to scrape through a 15-hour week.
Is there a way you can test your ferritin levels from home? So you don't have to keep sending in blood?
They have at-home ferritin tests, but they're
not that you'd still have to send it into a lab, right?
You
analysis?
Send it into a lab. Yeah. They have you can buy an at-home ferritin test at like a pharmacy, and I'm not necessarily recommending those right now because they're not super accurate, and also it's not like they give you the exact number. It's like a strip that turns a certain color, and then you have to like see what that color coordinates to. It's
nice. So there's not a way to see if you make a change, like when you crashed at my house like a month or two ago, you had said that you changed when you were taking your iron supplement. You take it at like 5 because apparently that's a better time to do it. But are you able to actually see that that's having an impact on your ferritin?
So the way that I'm
trying to suss out.
Yeah, the way that I see if it has an impact is I take I don't rely on the at-home ferritin test. I just think it's too inaccurate, and it's too important for me to rely on something that's inaccurate. So I just I had 5 blood tests in 2025, and I'll probably have around the same amount this year. And
yeah, I think I had.
When it's not prescribed from a doctor, like I just pay for these blood tests, and it's a business expense for me. It's worth it for me because it matters so much to performance. So, I get a blood test, and when I get a blood test, it doesn't just test ferritin; it tests all sorts of different things. And by the way, like your full iron panel is important for context. Like you shouldn't just rely on your ferritin number. There's hemoglobin, hematocrit, serum iron, all of this stuff. They need to be taken into consideration. And for people who aren't used to looking at an iron panel, it's probably a good idea to also consult a doctor when looking at your iron panel because it can be confusing.
I do want to throw this out there real quick because you might benefit from this as well. Something that was brought to my attention. Blaine showed me this recently. It's called Rhythm, RYTHM. I can't speak from experience because I've never used it, but it's like one of those monthly subscription blood tests. So you do draw your own blood and send it out. And it says it's personalized, so insights tailored to your goals. So I think you can determine, don't quote me, what gets tested. $80 per test.
That's
affordable.
That's a Huberman Lab advertisement. I'm pretty sure.
What?
I'm pretty sure he's
Rhythm?
Sponsored by them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard him talk about that company on his podcast before. Sounds pretty good though.
Well, some kind of sale happening currently, but better than trying to get a referral, go through all that stuff. So.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I use Superpower, and this is not an advertisement for Superpower. They don't sponsor me. I pay for it myself, but they've got it's a pretty comprehensive test. I want to say it's like 120 different, different metrics that they're looking at when they test. So
I started working with this is an advertisement because I like this guy. His name's Alex Winicky. His name's Alex Winicky at Second Arrow Nutrition. You can actually find his info on the Ignition. I started working with him as my nutritionist a couple months ago, and he had told me what to go and test for, just to make sure that when I go and get blood work, these are the exact things that they know. Because if you just go in and say you want blood work, they might not test for some specific things. And so he
won't.
Yeah. So he gave me a list of things that he wanted me to test for. I went in, told the doctor, they did it. I get emailed my results the next day. And then on the next call I had with Alex, we just walked through those results and he gave me feedback. It was pretty easy.
Nice.
Sweet. What else? So you're working on your iron. Is there anything else that you're doing? I mean, I know that you've said this, and maybe this is all that you're doing, is the system that you have as far as training methodology is pretty dialed. That got you to a 10th place at Unbound 2 years ago. So
right. Yeah. I don't think that I need to change anything about my training methodology. I think that in order to execute my training methodology, which is these high volume blocks, I need to just have my I need to have my iron in the right place. I mean, sometimes I get very obsessive about things, and I'm definitely hyper focused on ferritin right now. And so maybe I'm like placing more importance on it than it actually deserves. That's certainly possible. But right now, I'm placing, like, I think that getting my ferritin levels in the optimal range is more important than doing a volume block or having these particular intervals or doing, 30 hours a week or whatever. I mean, I can't do any of those things that I just listed without having optimal ferritin levels. And like I said, I think all of this is spurred on by the injury last year, because I think the injury definitely put me in a hole iron wise. It was just like really taxing on my body, and to rebuild the bone that was broken. So,
and the timing of it, right? Because you got injured literally right at the tail end of your big unbound block.
Yeah.
And so, the higher your volume is, the higher your chronic training load is, the more at risk you can be for iron deficiency.
Yeah, I mean,
just as an endurance athlete.
Yeah, when I think about last year, so I did the massive unbound block, 100 hours in 3 weeks, and then pretty much immediately after I got hit and broke my leg. So I was probably already in a hole, in a deficit, breaking my leg, and then I broke my leg, and then I was coming back, and the first race back was Leadville, which was probably too taxing of a race for my first race, and it was out at altitude. And if you know anything about altitude and iron, it's the same thing. It's like building red blood cells. You need a lot of iron available. It's very taxing on your body. Came back from altitude, and I think you combine those three factors: unbound block, break your leg, Leadville immediately. That's why why I sucked for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that is a bad recipe right there.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah.
So just in case people are curious, what type of iron supplementation are you using?
So the supplement that I use is is it Dr. Wellness or I think it's Dr. Wellness. And I'm using that one because you don't want to overload iron. A lot of people take massive doses of iron, and that's probably counterproductive, actually. In fact, sometimes they even recommend that you take iron every other day instead of every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because having too much iron is toxic for your body. Having too much iron is actually worse than not having enough iron. And if there's anything that I want to say right now is that there's probably and I said this in my video about iron, there's probably some people listening to this who are thinking, oh man, maybe I'm iron deficient. Let me take some iron. You should not do that unless you get a blood test, because having too much iron is worse for both your health and your performance than not having enough iron, because it's toxic to your body. So because your body knows this, like when you pump in massive amounts of iron into your body, it just blocks absorption. So it can actually be counterproductive to over supplement iron. And then this one also has other things like, zinc and magnesium and copper. And so it's got other minerals in it too.
Don't forget, our Good Life Brands has already said that they'd sponsor you if you decide to go unvegan. So there's that on the table too. If you want to try a different source of iron, we can get you some ribeye and some other stuff. You just give me the word and we can get a meat box shipped to you.
All right, I'll let you know about that.
All right. Who's next? Hey, Sabs?
You want me to, yeah, I can go.
I think I'm the most curious about yours. Like, everybody knew Dylan was going to say Unbound, but I have no idea what you're about to say.
Mine is really not anything crazy, because I like still, I just like performance goals or outcome goals are just like not really that important to me right now. I just have so many other things going on with life, and
look how big
unknowns.
Caitlin's smiling right now. Caitlin's freaking out.
So it's hard for me to pinpoint something or put my finger on something that like really is meaningful to me right now. And that's like, I tend to place a lot of meaning when I'm putting a goal or big goal out there, especially if it's like a big outcome goal. Like, it has to mean something to me. It's not just like, oh, that's the biggest race, so like I should target nationals because everyone should target nationals. It's like, no, I want it to like have some kind of internal meaning to me usually. So I just like right now, it's hard for me to pinpoint what that looks like for me right now. Partly because I still am dealing with a ton of like back problems on the bike. So even if I really wanted to have some big goal that I work towards on the bike, I just there's a lot of unknowns about like my ability to ride right now. I've only ridden my bike 3 times in the last 3 months, and all 3 times my back hurt after about an hour.
2 of those were at Iceman, weren't they, or one of them?
Since Iceman, since Iceman, I've only touched the bike 3 times, and that's intentional. That's me trying to restore my back to decent health right now, or just at least to test the waters to see if it is just that I need more rest and recovery from cycling, that, you know, to help restore it. Which actually right now I don't know if that's actually the case, because I took 2 months off the bike, and the first ride back, my back was hurting after about 45 minutes. So I don't think it needed rest from the bike necessarily. I think there's a larger underlying condition that's happened or that's affecting it. But so with that, like, it's hard for me to put anything into meaning as far as bike performance goals right now, because I know that I probably couldn't handle the training in order to prepare for that. So a couple things that I've like put as like kind of process goals for me this year. And part of this is just like really wanting to get back into overall like wellness and health, and like establish some good habits again. I want to train. I've always wanted to do this, but it never really made sense from a true like training methodology perspective. But since I don't have any like performance goals really, as far as like outcomes go, it doesn't really matter. So I can kind of do what I want. I've always wanted to train 365, where like every single day of the year, January 1st through December 31st, do something, 30 minutes or more of some kind of exercise. So that's a goal that I put out there for this year. I think it's just like, for me, I just kind of want that accountability of like, hey, this needs to be a priority again, because last year training and just conditioning in general sort of fell by the wayside. I just had so much going on that I found a lot of excuses to like, I don't have 2 hours today, so I'm just not even going to do anything. Instead, I'll just do more work or work on my house or do whatever. So I want to like put a priority on that. And I'm setting the bar pretty low. 30 minutes a day is like pretty attainable.
Dang, you read my mind. I was going to say that. Like, wow, set the bar low, buddy.
Yeah, but like the cumulative effect of consistency is like really something that I believe in.
There's something there for sure.
Doing 365 of minimum of 30 minutes a day is better than working out 180 days for an hour or 2, you know, whatever that I think would be like more, you know, I guess more not meaningful, but like more effective. Yeah, so that's one. Train 365. I'm going to try it. I've seen other people do it, and I've always been like, well, that's stupid. You need some rest and you need some days off and that kind of thing.
So you've done 14 workouts so far? 2026?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I haven't missed a day yet.
All right.
If you fail in January, man, I'm just like, dude, yeah, that's
what's your go-to, like, what are some of your go-to workouts for a 30-minute session?
Yeah, so so let me lead into the next one, and then I'll kind of expand. Another goal that I've had for myself is I want to wake up. I want to do 4 workouts in the 4s is what I'm calling it. So 4 in the 4s. So I want to start a workout 4 days a week before 5 a.m. So could be 4:59, get out the door or start strength training, but before 5 a.m.
What time do you go to bed?
Well,
last week you said you stayed up late. You can't burn it at both ends, dude.
When did I stay up late?
You said that the only time you can get anything done is after your kids go to sleep, so you don't go to bed till like 11 at least.
Yeah, so...
And you're waking up at 4:30 to go.
I mean, on those days, so I try to make sure that I get at least 6 hours on those days.
Okay.
So,
that's still
which is not that hard. So like 10:30 to 4:30, like that's 6 hours. Gives a little time after the kids are down, which most of the time right now, like I'm trying to get better about sleep too. I'm always trying to improve my sleep quality because for those that are longtime listeners, they've probably heard me talk about this, but I've dealt with like tons of insomnia in the past. Now I would say it's not so much insomnia and more so just like lack of time to sleep. Like I
need too much stuff.
I'm not creating enough volume of sleep in my current schedule. So yeah, it's really, so one of the habits that like I'm trying to get better at is like, if I'm waking up earlier, I definitely get tired earlier. Like last night, so I'm out in Boston right now, so I'm on East Coast time. I was tired, like laying in the hotel bed by 9:30 Eastern, which is 8:30 at home. And normally at home, like I can't do that because one of my kids doesn't go to bed usually till after 9. But that's that's so the kids is kind of what drove this, right? So part of why in 2025 I wasn't prioritizing or finding time to train is because I have one kid that goes to bed at 9 p.m. or later, and I have one kid that wakes up at between 5 and 5:30 every day. So it's like, where do I fit this in? Like, if I can't train during the day because I have too much stuff going on, I have to create space for me to prioritize that. So that was kind of where the 4 and the 4s goal came in, is like, if I wake up at 4:15, I can fit 30 minutes of training in before my kid wakes up. And I feel much better about my day, like when that happens, because 3 p.m. in the afternoon comes around, and like if I all of a sudden don't have the 3 to 4 window to train anymore because something else gets in the way, I've already at least met my goal for the day. So it's just a way to kind of prioritize fitness and training again. So for me, the low hanging fruit is like a 30-minute run. I can wake up 4:15, out the door by 4:30, get a 30-minute run in, home in time for when my kid wakes up. And usually that's accompanied by sauna right after. I almost sauna every single morning, I would say.
Dang.
It's usually like a 30-minute run followed by 20-minute sauna.
Shane, you can watch your kid in the sauna.
Yeah, he'll play with some toys or something like that while I'm in the sauna. It's kind of that's actually one of our routines that we do together.
That's cool.
We call it the hot box. So he comes in the room while I'm hotboxing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those are
about how you're hotboxing with your kid at church and people are getting.
Yeah, so those are, I would say, two of my, more process-oriented goals. Another maybe process-oriented goal, or maybe
Can I
lifestyle.
say something real quick about your morning?
Yeah.
Dude, I've had a huge mindset shift. I mean, I already did a lot of early morning runs and gym stuff, but like I'm convinced now that if I do anything that's an hour or less, so like today I did an easy spin, and anything an hour or less, I'm doing it as soon as I wake up. Because I think that the brain benefits that you get from doing exercise in the morning just makes your entire day better. And I'm not even talking about, I'm literally just talking about the effect that it has on your brain.
Totally.
And like just being able to focus more and learn more. So like today I woke up and the first thing I did was threw my bibs on and did a 45-minute spin on the trainer because I had a recovery ride and I didn't want to blow it off. So it's like, I'll do it in the morning and it'll probably make my whole day better.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Yeah.
For that reason.
And I'm going to experiment with it a little bit because last winter, so 2024 into 2025 winter, I didn't have any back issues on the trainer. It was exclusively back pain when I was riding outside. Now I haven't ridden the trainer at all this winter. So at some point I'm probably going to experiment again with the trainer.
Yeah.
But lately I've just been running. So get out the door and run. There's something about it, like being up that early, everything's still, everything's dark. No one's out except some sketchy people at the park sometimes. But there's like, to me, it's just like such a peaceful way to start the day in a positive way. It is kind of crazy sometimes because right now by us, sunrise isn't until like 8 a.m. So it's sometimes weird to be up for almost 4 hours before the sun comes up. And you feel like half your day's over before sunrise. But I've come to really like it. I've been doing this for probably 3 or 4 weeks now. I'm not the kind of person that waits till January 1st to do something, but I do like the constraints of like having a calendar year to measure and track something, but I'm not the kind of person that waits till New Year's to start it.
Nice.
The last one that I want to throw out there as far as like a process or lifestyle goal is I really want to work out with my kids once a week, whether that is taking them for a bike ride and I'm running, or running with them in the like jogging stroller, or like all of us going for a bike ride, or like doing a strength workout in my basement. I would even throw like skiing or something like that in, like something that's kind of like active but not necessarily like a dedicated workout session. I'm just like really trying to inspire them through like a more active lifestyle. So to me, like what's always been challenging in the past has been like, can I and am I willing to sacrifice one of my own training sessions to benefit either them or us collectively? Because I don't always have time for both of those. And this year I've like devoted myself to like, if one of my workouts per week has to be sacrificed so that I can do a workout with them, like I'm cool with that. Like actually not just cool with that, like that is a goal for me. So that's kind of the other like lifestyle or process goal.
Cool.
And then I'll probably end up doing at least 1 or 2 ultras this year. So I've got like a couple 50Ks that I'm looking at doing. And then really like the only thing that I'm like, would say like I'm actually training for would be like the fall hunting season. I want to plan a big like backcountry hunt, hopefully in September. So
And you got to be fit for that.
I have to be fit for that for sure.
Drew's like skeptical about whether or
Dude,
not you need to be
people
fit
who
to hunt.
They don't necessarily strike me as fit people.
That type of hunting is not what drew me into hunting. It was like the ultra endurance, extreme backcountry type hunting that like drew me in initially. So,
Cool.
yeah, like hiking in 5 to 10 miles, carrying all your stuff, and then packing out, 60 to 100 pounds worth of meat or gear and etc. So, yeah, you got to be pretty fit.
Dang, that's cool. Sorry, Dylan.
Just think about how much iron I'm going to have when I'm carrying that out.
Yeah, you could ship a meat box to Dylan.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I got for going for this year.
Well, I don't want Caitlin to go last, so Caitlin, you can go next.
No.
You're just saving the best for last, Drew.
No, that's not at all. That's not at all what I was. Hopefully not. I don't even know what I'm gonna say.
But yeah, all right.
Well, shoot, now I feel so much better because I was going to come into this, like, again, I have no performance goals, but like Adam, I feel like it needs to be really meaningful. And I did mention that last week. I am on a team, so I don't want people to think, oh, you're on a team and you don't have any performance goals. Like, I'm not taking this for granted whatsoever, but I am delving into like a whole new type of racing. So for me, that's super exciting. And again, I still want to perform the best I can, but by putting some type of expectation on races where I haven't done them before and I have no idea what to expect, like seeping through like previous people's results and trying to break down the course, that's just going to add more pressure. And for me, it's way more fun to just like see what I can get out of myself when I go out there and then use that for the future. But like, this sounds crazy. The first performance goal that I see for myself is not like for like 3 years. Like, I know that, I'm not pregnant now, but that's something that I hope to be soon. And like, I love Breck Epic so much that is the first event that I want to do when I return post-pregnancy. So I want to do that and try and match the times from the last year that I did it.
Wow,
So
sweet.
like that's years, and I'm not going to do that until I'm ready for it. So that's like potentially 3-4 years away, but that really excites me. But
Cool.
Trying to say,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So
yeah.
let's get into the details of your process goals that you're working on or lifestyle goal. I mean, and you don't have to call them goals. Let's just call them
Stepping stones.
implementations, things you're implementing to be the best athlete that you can be.
Yeah.
Oh man, it sounds so cheesy, but I think, well, I mentioned this book earlier before we started recording to Drew. It's called Internet Excellence, and he asked what the subtitle was, and the subtitle is Train Your Mind for Extraordinary Performance and the Best Possible Life. And the underlying theme throughout the book is basically living a full life and finding contentment, and the performance will come. And so my goals are kind of focused on things that I'm really excited about, but that are also tied to cycling. So like being a part of this women's team and all that entails is going to motivate me to step up my own personal riding. But then also my husband and I, Blaine, who's also an ignition coach, like we started a nonprofit, which is a U23 and junior development team called Dark Sky Devo, like really rooted in community here. And
That sounds like a cool team. Dark Sky Devo with Maddox as your coaches. Like, dude, I wish I lived in Arizona so I could be on that team.
It is a Flagstaff-based team, and our vision is to redefine the development team. And if anyone is interested or wanting to learn more about what our mission is, you can go to darkskydevo.com.
And they got a website? Wow. Lunchbox doesn't have a website. Maybe we need to invest in that.
And in the spirit of goals, those were the goals that we were really focused on this year. And so we've set 1, 3, 5, and 10-year goals for this team. So really excited about that.
For somebody who doesn't like goals, that's like pretty. That's a pretty.
Well, in terms of professional goals, like have everything laid out. And again, I'm really excited to host to this Crested Butte mountain bike camp, and we're going to extend one into Flagstaff and keep expanding that, and hopefully keeping the same theme throughout those camps. So if somebody has come to one, they kind of know what to expect for the next one. Really good quality meals, kind of a more intimate experience. yeah, excited about that too.
Nice.
So I didn't exactly answer your question, but like I'm a very emotional person, so the things that like elicit like a visceral reaction in me, as far as like, you know, wanting to really support these kids and like the team element, or bringing people together and showing them a beautiful place, like with the camps. The other thing, which is totally random, totally left field, Crested Butte just has like a super special place in my heart, and I've always really enjoyed art. And they have this incredible art show. And last year, walking through that, I like got really emotional. I was like, I really want to have my own show here. So I've laid out a very yeah.
You, as in like your own artwork?
Yeah, actually did some like studio art in high school and almost continue that in college, but like the science brain kind of took over, so that's why I went the exercise science route. But really getting back into that, so I've kind of laid out my schedule of how to have 8 pieces ready by that time of year to show.
You know, this is gonna blow your guys' mind, but I was also an artist in high school. I nearly thought about going to an art college.
Stuff.
Really?
That picture in your living room, every time somebody asks you like about it, you say, yeah, I drew it or I painted it. And like nobody believes you.
Really?
Yeah, like nobody.
Dude. Wait, why don't you do
I
your
didn't
own?
believe him at all the first time he told me, and then I saw the same thing happen to somebody else. That he had a whole conversation, and the person was just like, "Nah, you're lying." It's this giant picture of this goofy-looking guy on a bike. It's like an abstract bike picture. It's pretty cool, but
Sick.
when Dylan says he painted it, you're like, yeah, right.
Wait, Dylan, why don't you do your own tattoo artwork?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think tattoo artists. I think tattoo artists are like more responsive to requests when they can do the artwork on it. Like if you bring them something that you made yourself. I mean, some of them will do it, but I don't know. I kind of like letting the artist do their thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bold.
Also, it's been so long since I did art that I probably wouldn't do a good job anymore. Like basically it's been since high school because I just went all in. I just went all in on cycling, and like I don't know, I have a pretty like mono-focused mind, so it's what I focused on.
Well, you know, even coaching yourself is kind of an art.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is this where we drop the ignition advertisement right now? Hey, if you want an artist coach, then sign up for Ignition. Our coaches are artists. That's how good they are.
But I do want to say, I think, and maybe you've felt this too, Dylan, like you've wanted to try to get back into it a little bit, because I'm sure at some point like it meant something to you and you really enjoy it. Like whenever you feel some type of like you have that feeling, but then there's this resistance, I find that that's like a sign that you're on the right path. So if that's like your experience with cycling goals, yeah, you kind of got to lean into that.
Yeah.
Because usually what's on the other side is growth.
I wasn't expecting to talk about this, especially on a public platform, but it seems like a proper position or transition. But I really want to write a book, and I wasn't going to tell anybody about it till I like finished the book.
Dude, you need to tell people your goals.
You told us this before. Maybe not on the podcast.
Also, you said you wanted to write a book. Like, you're pretending like you wanted to keep it secret.
Yeah.
This, like,
I think when I
times.
originally said that, I had always thought like, oh yeah, one day me and Dylan could write a coaching book or something like that, you know, like after we, you know, retire from racing or something. But this is like something I want to do, but it's not about coaching. It is about fitness, but the concept would be how to glorify God through fitness and through health. And I figured a book like this probably already exists, and I've spent a ton of time researching and trying to find books there are books on this topic for sure, but none that I think meet what I consider the standard of what a book like that should look like. Mainly because most of the people who have written good books on it aren't professional athletes, they're pastors who are just trying to convince people to exercise, like get out the door. And I think there's a whole nother realm of that topic to be talked about as a athlete, like as a serious athlete. So the book would be kind of more from that perspective as a serious athlete.
I'm so
Cool.
going to hold you accountable to this. I think you should do it.
Yeah.
And also, like, you shouldn't be discouraged, even if your idea kind of exists. Like,
Yeah.
if some guy is a plumber and there's another plumber
Right.
in town, like, I mean,
I think
there are
that's
two
what I've
types
come
of
to
people.
as
They're going to
well.
level up and do it anyway, or they're going to
Yeah.
like shy away and not start it at all and miss out. So
Yeah, I think that's where I've come to, is like, even if another book like this exists and I haven't found it, it won't be the same thing as what I'm going to write. So
Right.
for those reasons, I've already started.
Oh,
I'm like-
really?
I'm like 3 chapters
Yeah.
in.
Sweet.
I started back in like November, finally. The idea came in November of 2024 when I actually gave a sermon on this topic at my church, and my pastor basically told me the sermon wasn't that good, but that I should write a book. So it took me a whole year to like really think about it. And I'm like, and I mean, it was always something that I would think about, like what you were talking about, Caitlin. Like, it always would pop up in my mind while I'm writing, and I'd think about it and think about it and think about it, but I would never actually start. Starting is definitely, like, especially something like a book, starting is definitely the hardest thing. But now that I'm kind of rolling into it, it's going along. Writing a book is
Cool.
way more work than I expected it to be, like way more, especially when you want it to be like really top notch. So yeah, but anyways, that's like I didn't think I was going to talk about that, but
Cool.
yeah. All right. So I guess I'll talk about my like.
yeah, wrapped up.
goals.
You're last. So.
I feel lame talking about Unbound, but like, man, I got the Unbound itch probably last year when I became teammate. I mean, Dylan had been rubbing off of me quite a bit, and then becoming teammates with Chase, like, completely, like, I feel like I've gone through like 2 evolutions as a cyclist. Like, Dylan helped me go through one evolution, and then Chase took me through a whole nother evolution. So last year, my bug for Unbound just got amplified, and having a really good ride there last year, in my opinion, helped to like make that even stronger for this year. And I like know kind of like I have like an idea of kind of exactly what I need to do to improve upon my result last year. So I have very clear goals as far as like what to do to get a better result at Unbound. And mainly that's just doing bigger one-day rides. Last year I had done a ton of big volume blocks, like weeks. And really what fell apart for me at Unbound was like 150 miles in, I had hit all new, like an all-time record for KJ's burned in one day. And I think my body just was like, holy crap, what are you doing? And just like shut down. And so I want to try to get in some bigger one-day efforts in place of like these big 3-day blocks that I was doing before. So I'm still going to do the 3-day blocks, but try to like shift it to where I'm doing a few bigger rides. And also I'm kind of in the same boat as Dylan, but maybe not as all in as him. Like I really want to go for that wild card spot, especially having known what the Sea Otter race is like since we did it last year. And so being able to go to that race, being a bit more prepared for it, having done it now, I think would be good. And then I also wanted to do, I didn't want my calendar to be the exact same as last year. I wanted to do at least one new event this year. And the Transcordiales race in Colombia is really at the top of my list for new events that I want to do, but it's in February. So I'm going to push that and do that next year. I'm going to like, because my 2025 season was extended into November, and racing in February was probably not going to be good for the whole season. So I'm going to end my season right after Big Sugar this year, and plans to go to the Transcordiales race next year. But so this year, I'm like pretty sure I'm going to go to the Traca and do the Traca 360, which would also hopefully help for the Unbound, because it's about a month before Unbound, and it would be an Unbound like effort, but in Europe. And it would be a new event that I've never done. And yeah, so I think that's it. Yeah.
Dylan, I muted you because it sounded like there was a dying parrot in your
Okay,
room.
so there's birds in Australia that sound like they're gagging constantly, and people in Australia don't even hear them. I'm like, PETA, what is that? And she's like, what? I'm like, the bird. And she's like, what bird? I mean, you can probably hear it right now.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing it for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, like if you come to
Hopefully
Australia, you're like, why are all these birds dying? And then the people in
editing
Australia are
software
like, what are you talking about?
We'll just eliminate that. It does a pretty good job at getting rid of the background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, I'm curious, so you're basically training, so by throwing the Traca in there, 2 things. One, how much priority are you placing on Traca first? Let's start with that. Like, is it more of a fun experience kind of race for you, or are you going there with a big target in mind?
I'd say like somewhere in the middle. It's
Okay.
definitely an experience. I've never even been to Girona, and everybody talks about how good Girona is, and so that would be cool. I'm trying to convince one of the other guys from Lunchbox is going to come too. So, and plus Todd Henriksen, who works with AIA, I'm staying with him, which makes the trip even more worth it because I haven't seen him since he's moved to Girona 5 years ago. So that'll be super cool. So it kind of just seems like the pieces have fallen into place for this to happen. I mean, I want to race good. Like I want to go into it fit, but I'm not going to go into it like peaking. I think like I'll still be doing some training leading up to it. Sea Otter's only like 2 weeks before that, so there's not a quick turnaround between Sea Otter and Traca. So I'll still have to do a pretty big block between those two races, and then I'll do another big block after the Traca, and then taper for Unbound. Right. But yeah, I mean, Unbound is definitely still the bigger of the two to focus on.
Okay, so there's what, like 4 weeks between Traca and Unbound? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question was going to be, do you feel like having to prepare as if basically you're doing Unbound, or maybe even hard? I don't know that much about the Traca as far as
is harder. Yeah, I think there's more.
It's harder terrain. I would
think the finishing times are usually longer than
quite a bit longer.
Not quite a bit. I mean, like maybe an hour longer. Yeah, 2 hours. I don't know.
Okay, I thought the record was like 12 hours.
No, it's come down quite a bit.
Has it? Okay.
Recently,
I remember when Chad Haga did it like solo, and in 12 hours was like his goal or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, just like Unbound,
solo's different. Yeah,
just like Unbound, like times have been getting faster and faster. So
sure. Mm-hmm. Does that for you change your base season much? Like having to basically prepare for Unbound a month earlier, or not so much?
Maybe a little bit, but like I like volume, and one of my goals was to try to match or improve my volume from this year. So like I'm gonna have to do that anyways. This just kind of like bumps it up a little bit more. Yeah. And I'm hoping that it plays in favor for Unbound.
Sweet. How far ahead of Traca will you get to Girona, do you think?
Well, I'm hoping to do my Red River Roubaix the weekend before on April the 25th. So I would probably fly out, like do that on Saturday and then fly to Girona on Monday maybe. So I wouldn't be as much prep as I would for like an Unbound or something. Gotcha. So it's definitely a less of a priority than Unbound or some of these other races that I'm doing. But sweet. I think the 360's on Friday, and so I'd still have a solid 3 days there before I need to race.
I'm super excited for you, especially because you want to do this and it's something different. But it's either going to go one of two ways. You're like, I'm never going to do any international travel that close to a priority race again, or you're like, that was amazing. That was perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Solid.
Cool.
Wait, so then, and didn't you tell us last week or another similar time you talked about how you're going to do coast to coast and dam, right?
Yeah, I know. I really like these long races.
Just becoming the 200-mile kind of guy.
I like them. Last year I did the coast to coast race a month after Unbound. It was the first race I did after Unbound after I took my mid-season break. And 2 weeks after that, I got the best result of my career, you could argue, at the Rift. If you asked me, that would be the best performance I've had in a race. And that happened like 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks after I did the coast to coast 200-mile race. And of course, the coast to coast race and the dam are not like Unbound or the Traca. Like those races are full gas, and I'm gonna get my doors blown off. But those other races, like at the Michigan race, the first 100 miles was a group ride, and then the race started. So like it makes it not as stressful. And both of those races allow aero bars, which is kind of cool too. I kind of get a kick out of racing with aero bars, and so like there will be a whole month where I'll just like leave aero bars on my bike for the whole month of July, because I'll do the coast to coast, I'll do Dust Bowl, and I'll do the dam, and all of those allow aero bars. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Anything else?
So I'm gonna put on 20 pounds of upper body muscle just so I'll look good.
How are we gonna hold each other accountable here? Are we setting like a quarterly check-in, or
we don't have to do that? We hold ourselves accountable.
I think that could be fun.
I want to hear how everyone's doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we do that naturally, anyways.
I mean, I'm the only one who spit out a goal that I could legitimately fail. Like Drew, yours was just Unbound.
Yeah.
Vaguely unbound.
Vaguely Unbound, exactly. I don't want to, I think I'm kind of in line with Caitlin. Like, I don't want to necessarily, of course I've got numbers in my head, but like, I want to, at the end of the day, feel like I want to be proud of the way I raced. And last year I was proud of the way I raced, and I got 30, and it, like, nobody cares about 35th. So like, but I do. And so that's what matters.
I mean, the only place that anyone cares about is first place. It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard you talk about this 10th place a whole lot. So it seems like a lot of people care about 10th place too.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, I think we'll do some periodic check-ins.
Wrap it up.
Good.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sweet, guys. Let's
See
do it.
ya.